Hello everyone, it's Daryl. How you guys doing today? I'm having a rough day. Rough week. Been sick. Got sick Christmas evening. I was totally sick for a day and a half afterwards. And it's just terrible to be sick at Christmas. But I'm better now. It's Thursday morning and my dishwasher has died. 3.5 years old. GE premium model. Stainless steel with steam wash cycle. Good quality dishwasher supposedly, but the main pump is not coming on. It fills, it drains, but the main pump itself is not coming on. So usually when that happens, your dishwasher doesn't work. There's a few steps you go through to diagnose the problem. You make sure it has power, you make sure that the door is closing tight and it's cycling on. You try and run a cycle and see how far it gets. In this case, the fill cycle functioned properly. The bottom of the machine filled up with water. The heating element came on and worked fine. The pump seemed to try to engage. You could hear it start humming, but nothing happened inside of the machine while the pump was humming, so I could tell that there was no water actually circulating for the wash cycle. And then after a few minutes of the pump humming and not working, the drain cycle would kick in and the water would all drain back out of the machine. So we've got an issue with the pump mechanism, either clogged up or it's failed. And this particular one, most dishwashers, sadly, in order to get the pump out, you need to remove the dishwasher from the cabinet. And since I put this in, I know how to do it. And I know it's kind of a pain because it's a real tight fit in here. I've got a slightly raised up tile floor over the original wood subfloor, and that makes it a super tight fit to get this dishwasher in and out. But we got it in there, so we should be able to get it out. But, first step is to remove the bottom kick plate, which you can see is under here. I've already removed that and laid it aside. There's just 2 sheet metal screws, one on either side of the front. You take those sheet metal screws and the kick plate pulls right out. Then most dishwashers will have 2 more screws when you open a door up in this area here, secured underneath to the cabinet. And actually here's one right here I'm pulling out right there, and there may be another one over here on this side. I didn't tighten them very tight. They've worked loose over the years. I say 3.5 years it's been in here, or 2.5 years, whatever it's been. Those 2 screws there were up on top. Those are just stabilizers. I'm surprised they even actually put those in because it rests pretty flat on its main legs. Alright, so once you have the top and bottom screws out, you're going to want to disconnect 3 more things. We've got to disconnect the water inlet, the drain outlet, and the power supply. Now in most dishwashers, if you follow the power supply line back from the hookup underneath, you'll see it goes into a wall outlet underneath the sink usually, or off to the side in another cabinet. Possibly the same outlet that your dishwasher garbage disposal runs off of. In this case, this one's hardwired into a wire coming out of the wall and does not just unplug. So I have 2 wire nuts I'll be disconnecting right where the junction box is inside that connects the power to it. The water supply line is a flexible braided cord with like a hose end that screws on to the inlet valve of the dishwasher. That's real easy to take off. Just got to remember to turn the water off under the sink. And then the drain outlet's going to require, I think, a screwdriver to loosen the hose clamp on and snap the drain line off. And then once that's all off, it's just a matter of wrestling the machine out of its space here and into the middle of the floor, where we can turn it up on its side and then hopefully fairly easily remove and clean the pump mechanism. Turning the water supply off was pretty easy. There's the standard shut-off valve right there underneath the sink, and we can see a little bit of calcium buildup on it, so it looks like it may have been dripping a little bit around the stem. I'm going to tighten the stem packing up while I'm under here too, and that's just a matter of putting a adjustable wrench onto the base nut that goes around the stem of the handle shaft and giving it a little bit of a turn to tighten it up and compress the line up here. Goes into the garbage disposal, and we can disconnect that right now. That'll be easy. We'll go ahead and take that slotted screw off there, and we can show you how this works. Kind of tricky here with 2 hands and a screwdriver. You get a good view of it right there on top, that one right there where the light's shining. and there's just a slotted screw on there. You loosen up and pull that hose off, and that's your drain line, and that'll pull back through as you slide the dishwasher out. Not a problem at all. If your dishwasher is hardwired like mine is, you're going to need to disconnect the 3 wire nuts you're going to use. We have a black, a white, and a green under here. They're probably going to be in a electrical box of some sort, or near an electrical box. And you're going to want to turn the breaker off or remove the fuse in whatever case you have. Probably most people have breakers nowadays. Before you mess with the electrical wiring, because you don't want to accidentally zap yourself here with the power and all this water nearby. Alright, now one more thing to remove, the water supply line. That is that bright silver cap right there. It looks like the end of a garden hose, only it's chrome and has a 90-degree angle coming out of it. That's our water inlet supply line, and that just unscrews like a hose would. You might have to get a pair of pliers on it to loosen it up a little, depending on how tight it's on there. We're going to take that off now. A little bit of water will probably run out, but it's not going to be very much. It'll be okay. Alright, we're disconnected everywhere we need to be. That didn't take more than, 20 minutes. That was the easy part. Now, well, maybe not. But now we got to wrestle the machine out of the cabinet. There we go. How's that? Can you see okay there? Alright, here we go. So I'm going to open the door a little. I'm going to get my hand up under here, hopefully. And like lift and pull. Our adjustable legs on the front, little feet, the leveling feet they're called, those need to be screwed all the way upward so that you have more room to move the dishwasher up and down. Well, sadly you didn't get to see me and Dominic do all the wrestling to get it out of its place, but let's suffice it to say it was a little bit difficult, but we found out it worked easier if you pull off the side dishwasher door seal. And that made it come out easier and fit through the hole better. We can pop that back on right as we slide it back into place. Now, I'm suspecting a bad pump motor, which is located down here. On this one, the pump motor is right here. I just stuck a screwdriver into the fan assembly on it and tried to spin it, and it does spin, but it seemed to turn a little hard. So, next thing, before I go tearing into it and taking it apart, is I'm going to apply 120 volts of power directly to the pump motor. I've disconnected the lead wire going into it, and I'm going to take a cord that I have that has 120 volts. I'm going to plug it into the wall. I'm going to use the other end of it to contact the motor and see if the motor will spin. There. My vlog has always been about doing things with shortcuts and taking, the kind of repairs that you might have to do on your own if you don't have the right kind of tools and test equipment. And we're going to show you here. I pulled the motor off. The motor, I told you the motor was spinning a little bit. If I put my, where's the cooling fan at in here? Okay, here we go. You can access the cooling fan through those slots right there. I inserted a small screwdriver in there and I gently turned the fan blades, and it turned kind of tightly. I went back and forth a couple times and it seemed to turn much more smoothly. So then I said, well, we're going to test the motor by applying 120 volts directly to the terminals here where the main wire harness connects to. So what I use is, I hesitate to show it, but we're going to show it anyway because this is what I used. We call it a suicide cable. Some people, electricians, do. It's a regular power cord, like an extension cord, that's had the end cut off, and you have the 2 bare wires here. So what I did is I very carefully plugged this end into the wall while holding this in my hand carefully with my fingers away from the metal, because that's live 120 volts AC power there. And I very carefully line this up here and insert these 2 wires into the hole to see if the motor kicks on. And the motor kicked on and ran very smooth and very fast. So I carefully held onto the wires, reached across with my right hand, and unplugged the cord to kill this suicide cord, so to speak, and get that out of the way. So we know the motor is running good. And that caused me some concern, because now there's all these other complex switches, sensors, and relays under here, which, I really don't know how to test some of these, and I do know how to test some of them, but it's a lot of work trying to diagnose them when you don't know where to start, especially with all these electronic. This has the steam system on it, and who knows how many interlocks and safety switches are in here. But I decided to think about the easy problem first. I said, you know, the pump wasn't coming on. I know it wasn't coming on. I couldn't hear it coming on. I couldn't feel it coming on. We're going to take the pump right off. So what I did is I removed, only takes 2 clamps. These 2 compression clamps here, a small one for the outlet and a big one for the inlet. And I used a pair of cutting pliers to remove these because these really aren't reusable once they've been apart. It's better just to replace them. And I'll replace those with screw-on traditional hose clamps that will go right around here and here. And I looked in here, and I looked in here. This looked pretty clean in here. I didn't see anything. I reached in there and I spun the impeller by hand. It seemed to move nice and smooth. And I looked in here and I saw a little bit of debris in here. So I started digging it out with a screwdriver, cleaning it up a little bit. You can still see there's a little bit of dirt in there, but nothing that would really cause it to foul out. But I'm going to clean that a little bit better before I put it back together. And as I was flipping it over and dropping it down, this piece of broken glass fell out of it. Somehow or other, I don't know how, this piece of broken glass got past the fine filter, past the coarse filter, past the drop sump, and all the way down into here and got sucked into the main motor pump. And I'm guessing it got wedged between the pump vanes and the pump body, and that's what caused it to stop the pump from coming on when it was supposed to. So we've got that out now. We're going to clean it out a little bit better and make sure there's no more debris or anything in there. Get that little bit of fuzz out that we saw down in there. I pulled one little piece of plastic thread type stuff, I don't know what it was, out as well. Anyway, we're going to go to the auto parts store. We're going to get a couple new hose clamps. Alright, we're back. We have the pump motor reinstalled. And this time we've used these automotive type screw-in hose clamps there and here to secure the hoses in place. We've thoroughly cleaned out the entire pump housing mechanism, the well sump, and reached in here and cleaned out this little, whatever that is there. I believe that's the diverter for the different water outlets, wherever you want the water to spray to during its different cycles. And we get ready to reinstall this back in the cabinet. So we're going to flip it back upright, slide it into place, and we'll just give you a brief overview as we make our connections. And well, here you have it, folks. The dishwasher is back in the cabinet. All the connections have been made, double checked for leaks, and it is functioning perfectly fine. The piece of glass in the pump motor was the problem. There's really 2 main problems that are the most common when it comes to dishwasher repair. Those being the pump and the water supply valve. The water supply valve I showed you is right up on the front left side underneath, and that can be accessed, changed, cleaned, and serviced without pulling the machine out of the cabinet. The pumps almost always have to be pulled out. There's a few of the older style machines with vertical pumps, they're called. They're mounted directly underneath that can be serviced without removing it, but they're very few and far between these days. And this particular GE Profile model is a very nice machine. We've been very happy with it for the last 3.5 years. It's got a steam cycle, it has like multiple cycles, wash rack, bottle washer, very flexible in what it can do, and I like it a lot. It's got temperature boost, sanity boost, and steam cycle, so you've got 4 different options for how hot you want the water and how much cleaning you need to have done. And as you can tell right now, it's actually running. It's extremely quiet. Don't you think so, Pup-Up? Pup-Up approves. Don't you, Pup-Up? Yes, you do. Alright, well, anyway, that was our main project for the day, is getting this dishwasher fixed and ready, because to have this is the middle of the holiday week. I'm off work all week. New Year's is coming up, and just all the kids home, and I'm home from work. Dishes are piling up, and we need to get this thing up and running, and we're happy we were able to do it without actually spending any money out of pocket, other than I think $1.75 for the 2 new hose clamps I bought at the local auto parts store. So if I can do it, you can do it. Save yourself a bunch of money You know, time, the whole project probably took me 2 hours, maybe. I would say 2 hours, because I wasn't sure. I'd never had this one apart before, and I wasn't sure what I was doing. And happy for you guys to watch this video and learn how to do it yourself and save some money. Have a great day. Check out my other videos. I do a lot of auto repairs, a few home improvement projects and appliance repairs. Small engine repairs are really my specialty. And a lot of history vlogs too. I love history, and I enjoy doing history videos. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you really want to help out the channel, share it with one of your friends or tag one of your friends in it. That really helps get these videos to circulate around and get other people to see them. I appreciate anything you can do to help out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye for now.